Hey there, the internet, Mickey P here, and today we're going to be continuing our journey back through the King's Quest series and looking at King's Quest IV, The Perils of Rosella. So this was kind of a technological milestone for the developer Sierra because it was the first game to use their new SCI engine, which included high resolution graphics, which weren't actually that high resolution because it just meant they were running in a full 320 by 200. And also included support for the then new technology of sound cards, which allowed PC game people to get more than just beeps. So we'll start by having a look at the box. Front cover is kind of this low-budget fantasy novel type piece of art with Rosella riding a unicorn being chased by vampires. And we see in the corner that at this point they're claiming as their selling point over 800,000 sold. It's kind of interesting moving backwards through King's Quest boxes, you see that number change. So I think later ones are saying over 1 million copies sold, and then I've got earlier ones that are like over 500,000 sold. You can almost kind of graph the sales of the series just by looking at those numbers, almost. Other thing worth looking at on front is the system requirements. Yes, I know I'm a boring person looks at system requirements, but in this case they are interesting because it includes mention of the sound cards that it supports, which is the Roland MT32, the AdLib, the Game Blaster, IBM music cards, and other music synthesizers. So yeah, that was the big main new thing at the time. We'll have a look around the rest of the box, assuming it wants to focus, because I've had to do this a million times because my autofocus isn't working. Focus is fixed, now we can turn around the box. So if we look to the side, we've just got this text again, which amuses me because that font is cheesy as all hell, and the 3D animated adventure game text, which also amuses me because it's not even 3D. And on the back we've got quite a nice big piece of art with huge moon and castle and horse and whatnot, and quite a lot of text. Be prepared for a spectacular adventure 3 times larger than any previous Sierra. I shouldn't be trying to read this upside down, I should be looking at the screen. Be prepared for a spectacular adventure 3 times larger than any previous Sierra adventure, a landmark in computer gaming that transcends existing standards of computer graphics, sound, and animation. Yeah, they're really pushing that technological advance thing with this, aren't they? Yeah, big long thing about how amazing and technological it is, including a list of features over 3 megabytes of computer code. 3 megabytes, yeah. And full-length cartoon introduction, day and night cycle, mini quest, keyboard, mouse, joystick, original music by William Goldstein, who worked on a bunch of stuff. Apparently he worked on Switched on Classics. Switched on Classics isn't the one I've got. Hooked on Classics. I don't know if they're related or if a million people wanted to make awkward disco or synth versions of classical music. And we've got some screenshots. It always surprised me how few the screenshots are on this box, considering it's the major technological advance game, and a little picture of Roberta Williams, because she designed it. Now let's open up the box, and if it wants to focus again, there we go. And kind of interesting about this era of Sierra boxes is the inside box was generically printed, but it was still printed with the photo of the mountain and everything. First thing in the box is the manual, which I keep on the top because often you need to refer to it because this game has copy protection, which asks you about words in the manual. So I kind of think it is a nice looking manual. It's got kind of textured paper, gold leaf, and inside it's all in this kind of cream paper with brown and green ink on it, and most of it's just taken up by synopsis of previous games in the series, but then at the end there's a little bit of how to play adventure games and lists of words that it understands, and a quick sort of walkthrough through the beginning of the game so that you get the idea. So yeah, I remember King Quest V, I was really disappointed with the manual, how cheap it felt. Because to me, the King Quest V manual probably cost more to print than this because it was in colour, but this just, the design looks nicer, so it feels classier to me. And then we've got the floppy disks. So this game came with both 3.5-inch and 5.25-inch discs in the same box, helpfully. Comes in a total of 4 3.5-inch discs. I think these are just 720K discs, not high density ones, but still it's a fair stack of discs, and like 8 5.25-inch discs. So this is kind of starting to get to the point where games are coming on lots of discs. I think previous King's Quest could fit on like just a few floppies, but starting to get rather serious numbers of discs with these, and eventually even with you end up with high density discs and more of them, and then CDs became a thing. But yeah, so that's, I guess, why it's got 3 megs of computer code. And now we'll move on to the rest of the box. First up is notice Sierra makes 2 different MS-DOS versions of King's Quest 4. You may want the other one. So because this game used the new SCI engine, they were slightly worried that a lot of people's computers wouldn't work with it, and they didn't want to risk losing sales. So they actually developed two versions, and that included one using the older engine they'd used for the previous King's Quest games, and if you'd bought this and wouldn't run your computer, you could send away to get the old version, which didn't require a 286 running at 8 megahertz, because, yeah, I guess it would. I mean, this was 1988, so I guess it's what you expect. Some people might have had a computer from a bit earlier which wasn't quite as powerful as this. But yeah, you could send away to get the crappy version. Other thing in the box is you can get blown away by Sierra's new stereo entertainment software. This was essentially the promo to buy a sound card from Sierra, because no one really had them yet, because this was really the first game to support it. So on the front we've got, I think, those pictures of some of the composers they got working on the games. And on the back there's a little thing about how you can send away to get a free music demo cassette to find out why sound cards are so good. And yeah, inside it's details about the 2 sound cards they sold, and you could order from them. So you could get an Ad-Lib and an MT32. The MT32 apparently cost like $550 or something ridiculous in 1988 money. I don't know, this release might be the 1989 release, but that's quite a lot of money. And last thing in the box is a letter from the president. No, it's not from Barack Obama. It's from Ken Williams, the president of Sierra. And it's essentially a big long thing about why sound cards are a thing you should get. I guess at the time they were calling them music cards. I guess that's because at the time that's really what they were designed for. Like, the Sound Blaster wasn't a thing yet, which was kind of the first one to support digital recorded sound effects as well as synthesized music. I guess that was the main technological advancement of this game that they were selling on, and they wanted to make sure people could actually take advantage of it. It's kind of interesting that they got so involved in the hardware, because these days often you'll see games tied in with like graphics card sales, but the game selling itself on its sound capabilities hasn't really been the case in ages, because these days sound is just like, you can basically do anything with any bit of hardware, because the standard is like real sound out, I guess. I'm rambling. But anyway, that's King's Quest 4. It's got a nice manual, and it's got a lot of stuff trying to sell you expensive computer hardware. And it's got a much nicer box than its sequel, King's Quest V, because the cheesy fantasy novel was better than cheesy, awkward, scary children. Anyway, I've been Mickey P, and thanks for watching.